Mr. Beardstone's Perfect World mod pack includes Macaw's bridges, storage drawers, raw statues, framed blocks, Farmer's Delight, and of course Create mod, not forgetting sophisticated backpacks and Alex's mobs. And among other things, there's a quest system to help you navigate all the way through all of these things. So let's get started and see where we end up.
A guaranteed disaster.
And the answer is we end up in an ocean. Of course we do. All I can do is pick a direction and swim for it. There's an island. It doesn't look like it has any trees on it, but I should be able to get some wood from that shipwreck to the left. I reach the island and check out the local wildlife. And then just by arriving at the shipwreck, I complete my first quest.
Wow. Well, that was easy.
Raiding the first chest isn't too difficult, and there's some decent loot in there too. But I want to take some doors with me to raid the deeper chests. So I stand on the blocks that are only one layer of water deep, and I break a few of those. To be honest, I only needed one block to make a small platform to stand on in order to get some of these jungle logs, and as soon as I pick up the first one, I can tick off 2 more quests. Now I can make a crafting table, which completes another quest. And with that, I can make some doors which are going to help me to raid the rest of the shipwreck. And that whale is huge. Below decks, the food chest has lots of goodies for me. And the map chest, well, that's not quite so exciting. Although I've got some wood from the shipwreck, the only way to have a sustainable source of wood is to grow some more trees, so I'm going to need some saplings. For that reason, I've decided to make a boat and go exploring. But before we do that, let's have a look at our quest book and pick up our rewards for the quests that we've completed. Some of these awards give us a choice of logs that we want to receive. I'm going to pick mangrove every time because, well, why not? I'm arriving at this island now and it's not much better than the first one we found. I think I'll just grab this sugarcane and move swiftly on. This third island looks much more promising though. It has a tree. But the sun is going down, I've got no bed to pass the night with, and I'm a little bit worried about what the night is going to bring. There is at least a tiny bit more food on this island and there's another tree. So I'm going to chop this tree down, grab these wild carrots, and head over that way. Oh, this island is absolutely tiny. Right now that's a good thing though, because it keeps me safe from mob spawning during the night. I don't think it's safe to go and explore the other islands right now, so I'm going to dig down instead, and that means making my first pickaxe. And that's another quest completed.
I'm unstoppable!
Let's dig down here and see if we can find some good resources. Our first bit of cobblestone completes another quest, so that's a good start. But a bit further down, it appears the island is not joined to the seafloor.
Who does that?
There is some iron down there though, and we've still got our doors on us from the shipwreck. But first we need a bit more cobble, so that we can make our first stone pickaxe. And of course, complete the quest for it. That means we can now mine our first iron. Let's get that smelting. Farewell, first pickaxe of the series. I'll pop these saplings down here too. And while I'm here, I'm gonna grab this copper. Another quest done. Diving down a bit further with my trusty doors, I find some andesite, and I know how useful that is in Create mod, so we are gonna grab some of that. With that done, let's head up to the surface now because I can see that it is now daylight. Oh look, there's pumpkins on the island. These are now my pumpkins. I'm just going to grab a bit of kelp because I know I'll want that later on. I'm exploring a bit more and these islands look pretty close together. The sea between them is really shallow, so I could place some dirt to join them up and make one big island. Yep, I've decided that's what I'm going to do, so I'm heading back to where we were to get our stuff and head over there. But I can see one of our saplings has grown. It's one of those big oak trees, so I'm definitely going to want an axe to chop it down. And that means completing yet another quest. Hooray! I'm just adding a waypoint on the map to our new destination, just to make sure we get there okay. That definitely makes it easier to spot, and it looks like there's some stuff floating on the water over here, so let's grab that while we're here. The first thing to do now we've arrived on our new island is to plant these saplings and get them growing. And now let's fill this water in.
I fell in.
With all the crops that we've managed to pick up from that shipwreck and the other islands, I think it's right to make some farmland and actually start farming them, so I'm making a hoe to do that. And look at all those quests we've completed. That's because the hoe quest leads on to the crop quests. Another crop I have is sugar, and I'm going to plant that around the edge of the island like this. Meanwhile, it looks like my next door neighbours have got a visitor. Well, I don't want those orcas mistaking me for a seal, so I'm going to make sure I've got somewhere safe to go underground. And besides, there's more resources down there, so let's go and find them. Oh, it looks as if I've stumbled across a cave. I'm just going to grab this iron, and then there's a few other resources I've spotted down here that we're going to need an iron pickaxe for. Oh, there goes my axe. Ah, it's a spawner. I thought there were quite a few zombies. Well, this spawner might come in handy later on. Oh, here we go. What, 3 of them together? I need to run away. Now, let's get this bit of redstone. And this bit of gold. Raw gold quest completed. We've actually completed a lot of quests, so while we're here, let's collect our rewards. Back up here on the surface, and the orcas are back. Now, I don't know if those things will ever attack a player, but I don't really want to find out because I won't stand much of a chance against them in my current state should they choose to attack me. So what with them and the phantoms at night time, I think I need to build a house that I can feel safe in. I think we can start exploring a bit of Create Mod. So here on the Create Mod Basics quest, first thing to do is to say yes, we want to start learning Create. And that gives us some XP nuggets. And we also get a Qualified Engineer advancement. The next thing we need to do is create some andesite alloy. We can just click on it here in the quest and it will show us all the ways we can make it. Some iron nuggets and some andesite, and there we go. Now we can grab our reward and let's see what else we can make. Now that we've got loads of Create bits and pieces, let's try and join them together to put them to good use. If I get some flowing water in this trench, we should be able to get a water wheel in it. But I guess that wants to be a block higher. Let's try again. That's more like it. And in fact, we've got 2 of these big water wheels, so we can do exactly the same thing next to it. Round on the inside, we bring the shaft through. I connect that to a big cog, join that one up to a small one, and on goes the mechanical press. The depot goes on the floor underneath it, and now I can squash some stuff. 3 bits of squashed gold lets me make a wrench, which is apparently quite an important thing. But for engineer's goggles, I'm going to need some string, and I don't have any of that right now. But I can still make a few other things, like a millstone and a mechanical drill. One of my favourite things though is the mechanical saw, because that lets me chop down an entire tree just by sawing away at the bottom block. I've spotted a spider over there and I really need the string. Let's see if we can get some. There it is, but there's a skeleton with it. Wait a minute, the skeleton just shot the spider. And there's an orca swimming around here. I really don't want to hit that by mistake. Well, that's my first skeleton of the series dispatched, but I think that spider is long gone. I'm still worried about that orca. So it turns out that as long as I don't hurt the orcas won't hurt me. And by swimming with them, I can get the orca's might effect, which gives me increased attack speed. So that must be what I just had. Oh no, here comes another phantom. I wish I had a bed. Well, the only way I'm going to be rid of those phantoms is to sleep through the night, and that means I need a bed, and for that I need wool. And I'm clearly not going to find any of that here, so I think it's time to go exploring again. I'm just going to keep heading west until I find a bigger landmass or maybe a bigger island. Or maybe, since there seems to be nothing out here, I'll end up just turning around and going back again. Oh, hold on, this looks promising. This looks very promising. Look, there are pigs. There were pigs. And there are sheep. Okay, I think I might have enough wool now. Let's check out this portal. And as I don't have any birch back at base, I'm going to grab some now. And with the sun going down, I'm finally going to make something to sleep in, but that doesn't have to be a bed because we can make a sleeping bag. The difference is that a sleeping bag won't reset your spawn when you lie in it, and the sleeping bag finally lets us tick off this base game quest. And speaking of quests, we can tick off these overworld mob quests that we've now achieved. But best of all, I can finally sleep. Oh look, horses.
Don't do it.
I could really do with some leather.
Don't you do it!
Okay, I'm going to leave those guys alone and hope that I find some cows later on. Is that some rice over there? I think it is. Rice is really useful in some of the Farmer's Delight recipes, so I'm definitely grabbing some of that. And lobsters, they've got to be a food source, right? And here's another shipwreck to raid. And here are the cows I was hoping to see. So that wasn't a huge landmass, the change in biome that I was kind of hoping for, but it was a really big island, and that means that while I'm being chased away from it by this seagull, I've got a decision to make. And that decision is very simply, do I stay here and carry on expanding this starter base? Or do I try and pack up all of my stuff and move over to the big island? Well, why don't you let me know what you think I should do in the comments? And while you're there, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe so that you don't miss the next thrilling episode. I will see you then, but for now, I've got a bed to sleep in. Night night.